is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Fox Sports.
The boys of summer are back at work at Port Charlotte as Joe Madden and the Rays prep for their 2013 campaign. Armed with the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner David Price, comeback player of the year Fernando Rodney, and a healthy Evan Longoria, the Rays are primed to make another run at the AL East crown. Spring training baseball starts now on Sun Sports. We welcome you to a gorgeous spring day in Charlotte County, Florida. The Rays and the fans getting reacquainted. In fact, we're getting acquainted with new faces in Rays colors. Will Myers, the new acquisition coming over from the Kansas City organization. Hi again, everyone, with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Statz. Great to have you aboard. We'll be hearing from Todd Callis and Orestes Estrada in just a moment. Rays have won 4 in a row this spring. They've gone 11-4 in BA. Joe Madden says this is the best group he's had in a camp while he's been manager of the Rays.
I mean, so far, so good for the Rays here in spring training. You come in with high expectations. There's been a lot of enthusiasm, and the execution has been outstanding in all 3 facets. You know, defense, offense, and, of course, pitching. Speaking of which, taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays will be left-hander Matt Moore, and this is a guy looking to continue to build up the arm strength, to work the pitch count up as he gets ready for the regular season, and today's focus is going to be on fastball command. Not exactly where he wants it right now, still plenty of time to work out the kinks, and the one thing we do know about Matt Moore is when he puts the fastball where he wants it, he can be absolutely devastating to an opposing lineup.
That has been the case the last few years. Pitching and that core starting staff a key for the Rays. A lot going on today. We'll hear from Andrew Friedman, Derek Shelton, the Rays hitting coach, and, of course, Joe Madden. When we come back, Todd Callis will talk with Evan Longoria.
Welcome back to Port Charlotte, Florida, inside Charlotte Sports Park. Beautiful Sunday afternoon as we get you ready for Rays and Red Sox spring training. Our first telecast. Time to catch up with Evan Longoria. Longo, I know each offseason you're kind of tweaking your workouts to get ready for this year, for the first day. What has your offseason this past year been like? Did you change it up at all?
Just a lot of rehab for the hamstring. You know, I had the little procedure done in November, and I mean, really the best decision I could have made. You know, it was just after that, just a matter of strengthening and getting back into shape. So I actually started, you know, working out a lot sooner than I normally would have. But, you know, obviously just to get ready for the year and have this hamstring ready, and it's really paid off.
You've always wanted to play 162 games. To facilitate that this year, may you have to play DH every once in a while or be in that role?
Who knows? Well, that'll be something that, Joe, Davey, Ron Porterfield, myself, Andrew Friedman, everybody will have a little bit of input on that. But again, I want to be on the field every day in any aspect I can be. So whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
Thanks, Longo.
Okay, thanks.
We're ready for baseball. Time to go upstairs to Dwayne and BA, guys.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. As you can see, the crowd continues to gather here in Charlotte County at Charlotte Sports Park. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. The wind's going to be blowing out toward the left field corner. And the Rays have had a very good spring and feel very good about what has happened to this point as they anticipate the regular season. Take a look at the Boston lineup. The Red Sox will have Jacoby Ellsbury leading off. He'll be in center, followed by Dustin Pedroia. Then Daniel Nava hits third. He's at left. The DH is Ryan LaVarnway. He has a chance to do a lot of catching this year in Boston. Ryan Sweeney is in right field. David Ross, a very good backup catcher, starting today. Lyle Overbay is at first base. Drew Sutton, who wore Rays colors for a short time, is at third base, hitting eighth. And Pedro Siriaco will be the shortstop, and he'll bat ninth for John Farrell. There's Joe Madden, the Rays skipper. Madden very optimistic about his ball club. A lot of changes, but that's something the Rays seem to do every year. They will take key parts of their club. In fact, we'll be talking about that. They've lost about 40% of their home run power from a year ago, but they feel very good about what's happened here the first couple of weeks here, spring training play, and backing it up before they started play. It's been about a month of spring training already.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays, left-hander Matt Moore. This will be his third appearance of the spring. You see the season numbers last year, 11 wins, ERA at 3.81. Mixed results so far this spring for Matt. The fastball command not quite where he wants it. He's always been notoriously a slow starter, and with this extra long spring training, trying to crank it up at this point and get that fastball command honed in, because when he's good with the fastball, he's very good overall.
See the numbers from last year, 31 starts, he broke even.
Let's take a look at that defense as it lines up behind Matt in the outfield, left to right. Leslie Anderson, Sean Rodriguez, and Matt Joyce. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Yanel Escobar, Kelly Johnson, and James Loney. Chris Jimenez will handle the catching duties.
Sean Rodriguez out there in center field. He played first base yesterday, hit a home run, and we're going to see him all over the place defensively, it would appear.
Well, when the Rays put together these teams, year to year, versatility plays such a huge role in the kind of players they have. And you're not even just talking about guys moving around infield positions. Sean Rodriguez, middle infielder, first base, center field today. You think about Ben Zobrist. You think what they may do with Kelly Johnson, moving him from infield to outfield. So a lot of different guys capable of a lot of different things.
Jacoby Ellsbury walks toward the batter's box. He's leading off for the Red Sox. And the Boston fans happy to see him active and healthy, back in uniform after being limited to a little over 70 games. You see 74 games a year ago because of that shoulder injury he suffered in a game against the Rays in the middle of April. Matt Moore's ready, and the first pitch is a strike. That's something that Jim Hickey will keep a close count of, to see if Moore can get ahead of these hitters and feature good command.
No, that's the whole key for Matt Moore. And we've talked about it ad nauseum. When he's good with that fastball, good downhill plane, is able to command it around the zone, he's excellent.
Takes the count to 2-1. Well, it would seem, and you can speak to this, coming into spring training as a pitcher and finding the groove. Johnson at second takes care of that one away.
Yeah, and it's not always easy, especially when you talk about a guy like Matt Moore. You know, finesse guys, they come in and you know, a little bit easier to find for them because their whole game is built around throwing strikes, commanding the zone. You've got a young power pitcher. Sometimes it can be a little harder for them, and it has been throughout Matt Moore's early career, minor leagues and even the first full big league season last year, struggled early on with command.
Now Dustin Pedroia. And this year, the Red Sox coming off the 69-win season a year ago with a lot of new faces and really a restructuring process going on for the Red Sox. And more than ever, they're going to count on Dustin Pedroia.
No, he is the glue, the heart and soul of this ball club. Gritty player, plays the game the right way, very productive in the field and at the plate. And you're right, huge turnover for the Red Sox.
Longoria throws out Pedroia. So a couple of ground balls here against Matt Moore.
29, Daniel Nava.
There it is. Evan Longoria making the throw a little bit wide and high, but boy, awfully nice to have a glove man like James Loney over there at first base. Lanky, can come off the bag, good footwork, makes the play.
Well, that's one of the things Joe Maddon is so pleased with. He feels that inner defense will be so much better this year, and inexplicably, it would seem, the Rays defense last year deserted them. This is a club that year in and year out and day to day has been an excellent defensive team, and it was not that a year ago.
Most errors in the American League. You know that that's going to be improved upon. They may go right back up to the very top of the heap.
1-1 to count to Nava. And there's Escobar at shortstop. Madden thinks he could be the key to the success of this team, offensively and defensively.
He definitely can bring a potent stick with some power. I was taken aback, you know, just being down around the batting cage today at the size of Yunel Escobar. I mean, you look at him, you think outside linebacker. And he's out there at shortstop. Good athlete, moves well.
Square the count.
It's also funny that Joe Maddon, you know, he doesn't say too many things without there being a reason and a purpose behind it. So to challenge Escobar in that kind of manner and put him, you know, in a place where he says, hey, this guy could be the difference, you really start to play on a guy's emotion and his work ethic and wanting to go out there and prove you right.
Over to center, that will fall in front of Rodriguez, and Nava has a base hit. Well, Joe has his way, and that's part of the process for him.
Pretty good pitch here by Matt Moore. That ball's down in the zone, but Nava, a notorious low ball hitter, goes right down and does a nice job of picking that ball off the dirt and dropping it into center field.
There's Ryan Lavarnway. He is the DH. Into right. Matt Joyce is there. And the Red Sox are finished in the first. Pick up a hit. Rays are coming in to hit. No score. Rays coming in to hit. No score as they take on the Red Sox here this afternoon. Comfortably cool and a high, clear sky. Escobar is going to lead it off for the Rays at short, followed by Kelly Johnson. They were together in Toronto. Longoria hits third in front of Matt Joyce, and then James Loney. Chris Jimenez will catch. Jack Cuss getting a look. The big left-handed slugger, the DH. Leslie Anderson hits eighth. Sean Rodriguez in center ninth.
And they will be facing right-hander John Lackey for the Boston Red Sox. You see the numbers from 2011. Obviously missed the 2012 season, coming off Tommy John surgery. This will be his third appearance this spring. This is a guy who the Boston Red Sox looking to make a move with a remade team. They need John Lackey to come up big for them this year because it's going to be all about the pitching for the Red Sox. Let's take a look at the defenses that lines up behind him. In the outfield left to right, Daniel Nava, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Ryan Sweeney. Across the infield third to first, Drew Sutton, Pedro Siriaco, Dustin Pedroia, and Lyle Overbay. David Ross will be behind the plate.
There's John Farrell, also coming over from Toronto. First year as the skipper of the Red Sox. And here's Escobar against Lackey. And Lackey's going to be very important for Boston. Escobar on the other side, very important for the Rays. You can see the 9 home runs. He had 253 last year. And frankly, the Rays would have taken those numbers out of their shortstop last year and been very pleased to get them.
All the different players that they had to run through that position, you'd have a guy out there that's got some pop in his bat, and you know he's good for 150 plus. Absolutely right. That's why you look at the Rays offensively and feel, listen, there's nowhere to go but up, and pretty much a sure thing.
So it's a 2-2 count to Escobar. So a shortstop who can give you defense and pop out of that spot. The Rays optimistic about that. Sutton takes care of Escobar's chopper. As promised at the outset, we'll be hearing from Orestes Destrada, and he's stationed in the dugout. Oh?
Hey guys, welcome back. This is exciting, and this kid that just went by me, Yunel Escobar, I think is going to be hopefully a fantastic pickup. We know that this team has to be very smart with some of their pickups, and we've been lucky with Keppinger last year and obviously Kochman the year before. But Yunel brings what I think is going to be a 5-tool player, key shortstop. We haven't had, if you think about it, that key shortstop that could possibly hit 270, 280, give you 20 bombs, driving 80 runs since Bartlett back in All-Star year of 09. So we're very excited, and the kid has really worked hard this winter. He knew not only did he need to work on his game, but also on his mental approach and his day-to-day focus. So he took it upon himself to start working with a legend down in Miami by the name of Eddie Rodriguez, a guy that mentored and coached me many years ago. They call him the Gallo, the Rooster, and he helped him out a lot. He's been working with him all winter long, and so far, so good.
Well, that has led to all this optimism as we see Kelly Johnson ground one foul. And fellas, keep all the mics open here as we talk about what could possibly happen with the Rays around the second base spot. We talked about Escobar, and Johnson's going to be part of that as well, a guy who could give some pop out of the middle of the infield.
And two guys that have worked together in the Toronto last year. Kelly Johnson at second base. He may see some work in the outfield. Ben Zobrist can play at second base. Sean Rodriguez can fill in over there. You got Ryan Roberts. There's a lot of options, and that's why it's so important, I think, for these guys to be working together.
That's just Ellsbury there, and he'll take care of Kelly Johnson's fly ball.
Yeah, working together during the spring, because that's the one thing that the camaraderie that you build as middle infielders, turning the double play, coming across the bag. Where does the guy like the flip? Where does he not like it? Where does he prefer it? How does he prefer it? All those different things come into play, and with so many moving parts with the Rays, reps are of huge importance.
Speaking of reps, here's Evan Longoria. Evan's primary concern to stay healthy. Number one, he'd like to get at least 50 at-bats coming out of spring training, maybe a few more than that, and get his legs to the point where when the regular season starts, he feels strong, not only at the start, but at the finish.
You know, I was talking to Evan, guys, before the game about spring training, because it's always, I know how I approached it, and obviously, B.A., you approached it in a different way as a pitcher, but it's the repetition factor. You need to get quickly back into the mode of doing the same things over and over and over as many times as possible, and he mentioned that to me. He goes, you know, I'm still not there. I know I've got quick hands, but it's a matter of me doing the same thing over and over until I get those quick twitch muscles to remember and click, and then all of a sudden my swing is there.
It's a skill sport. I mean, baseball is a skill sport, and it is. It's about the repetitions. It's about muscle memory. I mean, this is why the All-Star break was always a killer. You would take those 3 days off, sometimes 4, and you come back and feel like you're starting all over again. So it absolutely important, and this is the time of the year, obviously, to get it done.
Pretty close there. The count is full. All right, I have a hitter and a pitcher. All right, who loses it quicker over a period of a day or two in terms of reps? The hitting touch or the pitching touch?
The hitter.
On the third, Sutton takes care of this. So we got a vote for the hitter from O. We're through 1. No score.
Cal Ripken Jr. with us. How you doing, Cal?
Come on, George, get out of the way. Okay, good.
Cuz is always messing with our broadcast.
I'm doing fine. It's one of the few guys I still recognize.
Hey, this is it shapes up to be a fun year in the AL East. Your team with that incredible run in 2012, and really when you left the game, the Yankees and the Red Sox seemed to have the dynasties going, but now it seems like it could be almost anybody.
Well, Tampa's made a real nice insertion into the American League East as well, but last year was unexpected that the Orioles would be that good. And this year, the expectations is really high that they will do it again. But you can make a case for every team in that division to win the division or be competitive. So I'm looking forward to seeing, how each other beat each other up. But it's going to be a great division. Probably, it always has a reputation for being the best. But this year, truly, all 5 teams have a chance to win.
Brian Swinney lines out to right for the first out here in the second inning. I know you're here because you love the game of baseball. Since you've retired, you've been involved with youth sports and now with books. Tell us about this book and what the program that you've been involved with.
Well, I signed up for a series with Disney, and this is third in a series of 6 that we've signed up to, and I suspect we'll do more than that. First one was on a kid with a bad temper. It was called hothead. I'm trying to watch to make sure I don't get hit with a foul ball.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Watch for me. And the second one was about a bullying issue, and the third one here is about a kid that loses his confidence because he accidentally beans another kid in the head, and then he loses his control and loses his confidence. That ball struck rather well.
David Ross to deep center field where Sean Rodriguez camps under it, right by the edge of the warning track.
I used to be able to tell whether they were home runs or not.
You still can. That was pretty well struck.
We're promoting it, and the book signing sometimes brings us into ballparks like this. We've had a really good response, and it's about from ages 8 to 12, and it teaches lessons. We use a kids' Little League team to really describe certain social issues and lessons that are there, and it gives me a great platform to help communicate with the kids.
Our guy upstairs, Dwayne Stats, has already bought a copy of your book for his grandson, so that will be heading home with him after the game. Cal, final thing here, 2 outs in the second inning. You were a guy, obviously 26-32 in a row. As you got ready at this time of year in the spring, what were you looking to accomplish at this, and when did you want to try and get into what you called your regular season mode?
Well, that's the big issue. You want to leave here healthy, and you want to leave here peaking at the right time. So all your work should be geared to the end where you're actually ready to play health-wise and you're peaking. The worst thing you could do is really have a hot streak in spring training, and then it's inevitable. You almost feel like a slump is coming on as the season starts. But health is the number one thing. You got to be healthy and you got to be ready to play leaving here.
Matt Moore with a healthy top of the second. Cal, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cal Ripken Jr. joining us here as Matt Moore has a 1-2-3 top half. It's scoreless heading to the bottom of the second.
Back at Charlotte County, Matt Joyce, James Loney, and Chris Jimenez will bat for the Rays in this scoreless game. Quick top half of the second inning for Matt Moore as the Rays face John Lackey. You know, we were discussing hitters and pitchers trying to gain their touch at their respective skills, and right out of the box that it's tougher for a hitter to stay where he wants to be, and he can lose it faster than a pitcher.
Did you expect anything else?
No, I didn't. I thought that would be exactly right. But what do you say? Let's see. What should we expect from you?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit more diplomatic, and I'm going to say I would probably have to agree with Orestes. I mean, you think about hitters, timing, hands, T-work, they have to hit it. There's a reason why you take batting practice every day and you don't throw bullpens every day. There are certain drills that pitchers need to do to feel comfortable mechanically, but you want to combine that with saving some of your bullets. Hitters, they've got to, jump after it and get those muscles firing like right now. So I would agree, taking a couple days off at this point would hurt a hitter a whole lot more.
And here's Matt Joyce.
I tell you what, guys, listen, hitting this, throwing this little ball is easy. It's hitting it that's the hard thing. So, it's futile to even compare that pitchers now. All kidding aside, listen, Dwayne, if you were talking about I thought maybe you were alluding more to the winter, which is, we have that 3 or 4 months off. It really is tricky for both, but I think for hitters, it's a little trickier because pitchers always can add a little wrinkle, a little sink, even right out of spring training, and we're out of timing. We just are trying to hit the straight ball initially and then work off the breaking pitches.
Siriaco at short, handling the chopper by Joyce, one away.
And I'm going to take umbrage with one thing.
Here it comes.
Yes, throwing the ball is an easy thing to do. However,
not really.
Throwing it with a good amount of stuff and with the right kind of movement in the exact spot that you want to, Not that easy.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I was looking for. Just want to let you guys go.
Well, I mean, I was
At what
talking.
point do I have to loosen up and Orestes gets back in the box?
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! The back. You just said that, and my back tightened up just when you just said that.
My elbow's throbbing.
That's great.
We had to call Dr. Andrews right away as soon as you said that. Dr. Andrews said, "What? You're not even doing that again." I would tell you this though: pitching is something special because of the fact that not only the speed factor, but like you said, the moving it throughout the zone at the major league level. People don't realize how good the hitters are, and then if you don't move it around, you get shellacked very quickly.
James Loney down at the count, a ball to 2 strikes. Here's a guy who will give the Rays outstanding defense at first, so that's going to make the pitching even better. And the Rays, look at the numbers he had last year, and while they were not imposing run production numbers, there were very few strikeouts. He does put the ball into play a lot, and they feel that he can also give them some run production.
Well, the Rays.
Pedroia recovers and makes the throw.
That was a very nice play by Pedroia on that recovery, moving up the middle to barehand that ball and retired James Loney at first base. You see right here, looks like it's going to be a pretty easy play, but then not so much. Good recovery. Nice scoop there by Overbay. But yeah, you look at the Rays last year offensively. They led the American League in strikeouts, as far as offensively. And now you've got a guy that's going to put the ball in play. You give yourself a chance. That was something that they wanted to improve on. And certainly at one position, they've done that.
Base is empty. Chris Jimenez, he's had a good spring. He's been in the battle for part of that catching duty. And he's had a very good spring. He's shown versatility, which is always important on a Joe Madden team. And he has swung the bat very well. He finished the year last year swinging the bat very well. Ellsbury handles this one. 3 up, 3 down. We're headed into the 3rd. Boston nothing and the Rays nothing.
Here we go into the 3rd inning, scoreless between the Rays and the Red Sox. Matt Moore on first, 3rd inning of work. And joining us here outside where we were with Cal Ripken Jr. a moment ago is Andrew Friedman, Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations. First of all, Andrew, good early start here for Matt Moore. I know you've been looking for that consistency.
Yeah, I mean, it's spring training, and, the biggest thing is guys getting through it healthy. That being said, you also want to see guys having success and build upon that as we head into the regular season.
Joe said it seems unusual to talk about this being close to the halfway point of the spring. Has it seemed like you've been here for a while?
It really does. There's a Groundhog Day element to it where, it's not even March 10th yet, and it feels like we've been here a long time.
What about the depth of this team? I know towards the end of last spring that was a concern for you going into 2012. Are you pleased with the moves and where you guys are heading into this 2013 campaign?
Yeah, as we sit here today, I think that's been the thing that's really stood out to me the most this spring is the depth that we have. We're going to have some tough decisions to make. That being said, we've got the upside of, a lot of really good players in Durham that are going to help us throughout the year. And so we're really excited about that.
Along those lines, here's Drew Sutton, and due to injuries, and at times he was in the middle of the Rays lineup last year. Now, offensively, as he pops one on the right side of the infield that James Loney puts away. Offensively, you've got some different pieces in place, and we're joined by a new member of the Friedman family here on the interview, but you've got some new pieces in place that could help you on the offensive end.
Yeah, no question. It's going to be a different offense in terms of the profile, and we're going to have, probably a little bit less swing and miss, probably a little less power. And so I think the power was something that we were kind of hypersensitive to this winter, and especially down the stretch, which I think was a big part of the reason that we brought back Luke and brought in Kelly Johnson.
Yeah, and you mentioned the word hypersensitive. How much of the changes on the infield were you hypersensitive to, where your infield defense last year, especially first half, wasn't where you wanted it to be?
Yeah, we left spring training last year thinking that we were going to be an elite defensive team. I think we were better than our error total suggested, but we weren't nearly as good as we wanted to be. And so it was definitely an area of emphasis for us. And, getting Yunel Escobar, hopefully having a healthy Evan Longoria all year, and all the guys that will play second base for us this year. And then also with James Loney, we feel like we're going to have the best infield defense we've ever had.
There was Longoria on 2 hops for the second out of the inning. So, by the way, you're dealing well with the distractions. It's kind of like having 2 producers in your ear during this interview. That's good that you're able to.
I'm used to it.
As we get ready here, still 3 weeks to go in the spring, but with Evan Longoria, obviously, last year, you guys, the record speaks for itself when he was in the lineup, when he was not in the lineup. He mentioned you and Joe and other guys that are going to contribute to the decision, but do you see him playing a role in the DH spot, maybe more so than we've seen in the past, just to ensure that he can play as close to that 162 as possible?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. That's the end goal, is to get him to play as many games as he possibly can. And whether we, do it at third base or DH remains to be seen. And so much of it's going to be how he's doing, how he's feeling, the recovery. But yeah, it's something that we're going to be a lot more aware of and alert to going through the year.
Andrew, thank you for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. And well done in that crowded section there. 2 up, 2 down, and Matt Moore is ahead of Ellsbury. And that's certainly music to the ears of Jim Hickey and Joe Madden to see Moore ahead in the count.
Well, this was a big outing for Matt Moore. Speaking for having been in that position, you say to yourself, his last start did not go very well. Fastball command wasn't there, and obviously something that he's looking to improve upon. And so that next start, you put a little bit more pressure on yourself to go out there and say, listen, I need to get back in the right spot mentally, and that starts with being able to go out there and throw strikes, and that's exactly what he's done.
And a popper, foul ball that will not be playable. Moore in his first outing against the Tigers, and then the last time on the 5th against the Twins. And he pitched 2 2/3 in that one against Minnesota, but did not have the kind of command of that fastball that he would like. Count holds, hit a ball, 2 strikes. We're in the top half of the 3rd. While the Rays have gone 11-4 for the spring. The Red Sox come into this game 7-8. They're coming off a loss against Baltimore, and the Rays had a big offensive day against the Phillies yesterday in Clearwater, scoring 15 runs on 16 hits. 2-2, a little pop to that pitch up, and that's another thing that is not altogether unusual if you have a good, hard-throwing left-hander like Moore. And the first time out, velocity wasn't quite there. A little better the next time out, and he had a little something behind that pitch that he missed up on to Ellsbury. Full count now.
Yeah, if a guy like Matt Moore tells you he's healthy, you don't worry about the velocity at this point, because you know that's going to come with the reps, with being out there, building up the arm strength, starting to stretch out pitch count wise, but the command. That's what we've been talking about a lot with Matt, is if he's able to have that velocity comes up and he has success. Right here, 1 and 2 on Ellsbury, and ends up losing them with 3 straight fastballs out of the zone.
So he gives up the walk. That's the first one he's served up today. But with 2 outs, it will get Dustin Pedroia into the batter's box. Pedroia grounded out his first time. Rays with Matt Moore starting this game. Josh Lukey is scheduled to pitch today, and he's thrown the ball well, trying to become a factor in the bullpen. And now another miss by Moore to start the sequence of pitches to Pedroia.
And after missing with the fastballs to Ellsbury, comes out with a first pitch changeup there to Pedroia, well off the plate.
And there is ball 2.
Better quality pitch, a little bit out of the zone, but as much as you want to come out and work on things, you still want to have success. And after Dustin Pedroia watched 3 straight fastballs out of the zone to Jacoby Ellsbury, he's sitting on that first pitch fastball more than likely, which is what led to the changeup. But now 2-0.
And there's a strike. So it's 2-1.
Comes right back here. And a fastball count, and he comes out with the changeup right at the knees on the outside corner. Well, that's what really makes pitching or a pitcher very dangerous. When they're willing to throw the off speed behind in the count in fastball counts, the hitter then just cannot ever feel comfortable sitting on that heater all the time.
The count goes 2-2 with Moore. You hear a lot about the arm not catching up. Is that what you diagnose with him?
Well, absolutely. And sometimes he gets a little spread out and can't quite get out over the front side, and the arm drags. And when the arm drags, typically you're going to miss, especially with the fastball, you're going to miss that pitch arm side high. And we've seen that an awful lot from Matt Moore, especially to right-handed hitters. When he's missing with the fastball, it's arm side high.
He has walked Ellsbury, who's aboard at first with 2 gone.
That's why every once in a while, when a guy is missing like that, you'd like to see that catcher recognize it quick and call for that fastball middle in as soon as he can, where it fits into the game plan, because that forces a pitcher to really have to concentrate on getting out in front with his release point to be able to get that ball on the other side of the plate, and sometimes that can correct the problem.
And he's up and away with this one. So he goes full. 3-2 here to Pedroia. Moore got through the first 2 innings with 20 pitches total. This is his 18th pitch of this inning, and he picks up the strikeout. Pedroia out of there. They leave Ellsbury at first. Another look at the strikeout pitch by Moore. We head into the home half, the 3rd. No score.
The third inning, we are scoreless here in Charlotte County. Well, play ball. 2 words that bring joy to any baseball fan. The Rays return to play ball at Tropicana Field on opening day, which is Tuesday, April the 2nd, when they battle the Baltimore Orioles. All fans will receive a schedule magnet presented by Tropicana. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS.
Crowd enjoying the sun and the light breeze in the ballpark, and slaking a thirst at the same time.
Gotta hydrate. Gorgeous day.
Jack Cust will lead off, the designated hitter. Well, the Rays have shown over the past few years it's handy to have a guy like Cust accessible. Even if he's not with your club, if he's in the organization, and invariably there will be a point in the regular season when a guy like that could come in handy, as we've seen, a.k.a. Dan Johnson.
I was just thinking maybe you need a late inning home run. Maybe it's in Boston, perhaps. Yeah. And a guy like Jack Cust fits the bill.
A 2-strike count. Cust in here. He'll be followed by Leslie Anderson and Sean Rodriguez. John Lackey, the 34-year-old right-hander, missed all of last year. Now coming back from Tommy John surgery.
And he's looked good so far this afternoon. Good movement on the pitches. Throwing free and easy.
Now that would be a big lift for the Red Sox to have him healthy and effective. Even the year before, when he won 12 and lost 12, he was not completely healthy, as that earned run average up around 6.5 would indicate. And then he had the Tommy John surgery. We know from his time on the West Coast with the Angels, he's a guy who will take the baseball and can give you innings, give you quality innings in the rotation.
I think that's where it starts and ends with Boston this year. Certainly going to be able to score some runs, but what are they going to be able to do pitching wise?
And Cust is caught looking. Well, Lackey has retired the first 7 to face him, and now picks up his first strikeout.
Well, it just comes with takes a little bit off this pitch here in a full count. You see just able to drop that ball right on the outside corner at the top of the strike zone to pick up the strikeout looking.
Well, here's Leslie Anderson. Anderson out of Cuba and has been in the Rays system the last couple of years and made some significant strides last year at Arestas. I know he's a guy that you've kept your eye on.
I have, you know, and I first met Leslie covering him in WBC in 06 and 09, and he's a really nice talent. A lot of people don't know about him. Even Rays fans come up to me and go, who is this Leslie Anderson? And he's having a nice spring. And he's really a first baseman outfielder with a sweet swing, gap hitter. He's kind of a tweener, though, guys, because he's not a real big power guy that can probably hit 30. And then his defense, you know, is okay. But he is a sweet swinger, and he's showing it off again this spring. And, you know, if it's not our roster, you know, you never know if maybe somebody else might take a chance on him. But I do like Leslie. In fact, I was talking to both Leslie and Yunel about Team Cuba in the WBC, who had another rout just yesterday, a powerful team, and they're saying that that they're looking for this team to their Team Cuba to win the WBC because they wanted to win it the last 2 times, but Japan got the best of them.
It's 2-2. Well, Anderson last year, and you're right about the defensive side. I think the Rays felt that he made some significant progress defensively last year.
Oh, and speaking with Joe Madden before the game today, he mentioned his defense. Not only was he swinging the bat well this spring and opening some eyes with the way he's able to use the whole field, but the defense has definitely come a long way, and another intriguing guy. I mean, that's the thing. I told Joe, I said, we're talking, you could easily right now with guys that deserve to be here, you could put out a 30, 32-man team quite easily. Going to be a lot of tough decisions to make coming down here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's one of the points that Andrew Friedman was making in his conversation with Todd. That's going to be a base hit. Anderson is aboard. And, that's the one thing a year ago, frankly, that the Rays, they didn't make a big issue of it, but they kind of quietly were concerned about their depth, and it really did show up when they lost Longoria and started to be hit by injuries. The position player depth was a concern, and they really feel as if they've taken a significant step forward in addressing that this year and have some quality people who, in case they need to stick somebody in a spot because of injury, they have somewhere to go now. Here's Sean Rodriguez.
They've not only done that by adding players and adding more bodies, but making the players that they do have more versatile. We talked about Sean Rodriguez being a guy that all over the place right now. Kelly Johnson, find yourself an outfielder's glove. You may get some time out there.
There's a strike to Sean Rodriguez. Yes, Sean, center field today, first base yesterday up in Clearwater against the Phillies. And, boy, he made a couple outstanding defensive plays in yesterday's game while playing first base. That's a base hit. Anderson on his way to third. Sweeties throws to second, first and third. And that little base hit right there is not like the home run he hit yesterday. But that could be a nice sign out of Rodriguez against the right-hander Lackey.
Up the middle, the other way approach for so many hitters works. It's especially true for Sean Rodriguez. And when you see him able to push that ball up the middle to shoot some balls the other way, you know that he is feeling good about his swing. He's got quick hands, so he's going to be able to react to the ball in and fire those hands through the zone. But when he's more than willing to take the ball up the middle the other way, that's when he can get on a hot streak in a hurry.
Well, here's Escobar. The Rays put together their first threat of this game. Toward the hole, backhanded. Siriaco safe at second. The run scores. Anderson crosses the plate. The Rays take a 1-0 lead. Good effort by Siriaco, but Rodriguez beat the play at second, and Escobar picks up the run batted in.
Well, Sean Rodriguez had a huge lead over there at first base, and you see right there on the secondary, he's almost a third of the way to second base. So with Siriaco having to go deep into the hole, it makes it easily, and that's going to plate the Rays' first run.
And remember, guys, this is a team that I think this year is going to be faster. They're going to be, not so much that they're going to steal so many more bases, but they're going to be a better first to third team than they were last year. And you can create a lot of offense without hitting a home run if you're faster on the base pass.
It's Kelly Johnson. And he checked in time, 1-0.
You know what else was interesting? You saw that the lead that Sean Rodriguez had, that was one of those 2 outs, first and third situations where Joe Madden and so many of the managers are not a fan of the third to first balk call that's automatic now. That's no longer a viable pickoff play.
And to center. Rodriguez heads to third, and trailing into second is Escobar. So the Rays, they're creating a little havoc. Getting into the Boston defense, forcing them to keep an eye and then make a play and throw it away.
Well, a little bit of frustration here, too, with John Lackey. A couple of balls not hit that hard, trying to steal himself an out right there. The ball right off the back of Sean Rodriguez, and now 2 Rays in scoring position.
So a move up on the error. 2-0. And this really is the kind of baseball that Joe Madden loves. And it really is a trademark of what he has seen the Rays develop into. And that's by design. 2 balls and a strike. Like to force the issue, and as you pointed out, important to go first to third. Get good secondary leads. And
it's important for me to get out of the way of some of these foul balls here in the dugout.
Well, you still got reflexes. There's no problem about that.
No, I just hid behind Chico Fernandez, their video guy, and he's a wide body, so I'm okay. Sorry, Chico.
Now, Russ's might not be winning the Coach of the Day award from Chico for that one. This one is wide. 3 balls.
It's all about his son, though. He's the masher. Chico's kid, I've seen him play in the Little League. He can really hit, so he's all right. I'll give him a plug.
And now the bases are loaded. Kelly Johnson draws the walk, and they're going to be loaded for Evan Longoria.
Ball coming right on the outside corner, just stays off the plate. Nice eye there by Kelly Johnson. Let that pitch go, and now the Rays with an opportunity. Bases juice, just 1 out. Big stick of Evan Longoria comes to the plate.
Well, the Rays with a run home and a chance for a big inning. Fly ball center. Ellsbury in line to catch it. Rodriguez tags, headed to the plate. The throws to third, not in time. And the Rays get their second run.
Well, you could tell by Evan Longoria and his gait down to first base that he would love to take another crack at that pitch, and that's something that during the regular season, that ball gets laid out over the plate like that, you might be looking at a 4 spot on the board.
And guys, you just can't say enough what he means to this team. 87 plus games he missed last year. He's an RBI machine, and he generates a run and a half between an RBI or run scored every single game that he dresses up, average for the Rays. So that just makes a difference for a team that is in a lot of 4-3 ball games. He's a difference maker.
Now Matt Joyce up here takes the pitch in. Yeah, there's absolutely no question about that, and his absence last year was the difference between being in the postseason and not. It was just that simple. Pitch down, runner breaks, and the throw, it's not going to be in time. Kelly Johnson steals the base. Let's take a look at the numbers on Longoria. You can see the team with him and the team without him. And look at the run differential. 4.8 to 3.9.
2 games under, 20 games over. I mean, pretty good sample size.
Joyce way up in the count.
He's not only going to help you defensively down there at third base and offensively with what he's going to produce, but he's also a presence in the middle of that lineup, and he moves other guys into spots that are more befitting their talents.
Joyce, green light, 3-0, and pops it into short left. That will take care of the Rays. They come up with a couple runs and lead 2-0. Rays with a couple runs in the bottom of the third. They have a 2-0 lead. Matt Moore on the field today. Let's take a look at a couple of his highlights through the front three.
Well, Matt Moore, a quick start this afternoon. Good fastball, getting the lazy fly ball to center field right here. Keeping that ball down in the zone, a little roll over to Longoria, and then a real confidence-building pitch right here. After a walk to Jacoby Ellsbury, where he was ahead of the count 1-2, he comes back with a good full-count fastball there to get Pedroia.
You see the top 4 men in the rotation, James Shields and all those quality innings gone to Kansas City. And so this is how it's going to shake out right now, and it's nice to have a Cy Young Award winner to slip right into that #1 spot.
No question about it. I mean, David Price coming off that year last year, well-deserved Cy Young, but Hellickson, Moore, Cobb all slide up a spot. That's going to be very interesting to watch. These guys are very, very eager to tackle that challenge of moving up with the increased responsibility. It's going to be very fun to watch their continued development.
Yeah, they'd like to get with that increased responsibility, an increased inning amount as well. So you're talking, and when you break it down, you're talking 2 or 3 extra outs a game. And if they can do that, they're feeling pretty good. Strike to Nava. Daniel Nava leads off. It's 1-1 to him. And the competition for the 5th spot has been brisk.
It absolutely is.
I'll tell you, they think they have a real problem trying to decide that #5 spot.
No shortage of candidates. You know, getting back to the top 4, we know they can pitch. They've got good stuff, and when they're on, they can pitch up there with anybody in the game of baseball. Right now, I think for all 3 of them, it becomes a matter of learning the next step, which is efficiency, controlling that pitch count to let yourself get deeper into games. When you do that, you not only make up for the loss of innings from James Shields being traded to Kansas City, but you continue to lessen that burden on the bullpen and keep them fresh throughout the season. You do that, good things are going to happen all around.
You know, they're young pitchers, and I know you can speak to this, having developed the way you did. Young pitchers have sometimes a learning curve of understanding all the tools that they have and how to use those efficiently.
No question about it. You know, first of all, you're showing off your stuff. You're trying to compete at the big league level. You tend to be maybe a little bit coddled earlier in your career. You know, you don't want to expose a guy and ruin his confidence early. So if he's got 5 1/3, 5 2/3 innings of pretty good baseball, and you got a good bullpen, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Let him pick up a win. Have a nice quality outing. But these guys are eager, I think, to take that next step. And they say, okay, now I want to go deeper. I want to be a guy that's going to go out and I want to pitch into the 7th and 8th every single time I take the mound. And I know what I'm capable of as far as my stuff goes. It's just learning how to pitch and being a little bit more efficient.
And the more they learn, the more efficient they're going to become. At least is the hope of the Rays. And that gets them deeper into games and picks up some of those innings.
Absolutely. I can remember when I had a chance to pitch with the Angels, and Chuck Finley, getting a chance to talk to him, he said, when I was a young pitcher, I wanted to strike out everybody. I wanted to go out and overpower everybody. He said, boy, it runs your pitch count up, it shortens your outings. He said, right now, I'll take a first pitch sinker down and away and get a guy to roll over 1 pitch, 1 out. I'll take that all day long so I can pitch deep into games. That's what these guys are learning right now.
Well, the walk to Nava, Lavarnway, the DH in the batter's box. And what a difference that makes, because if you get a guy to roll a little ground ball over that pitch down and away 3 or 4 times, and you're late in the game, you've got that big fastball when you need the strikeout. First pitch is a strike to Lavarnway. Well, let's take a look at the battle for the #5 spot. Jim Neiman pitched yesterday against the Phillies and threw the ball well. And you see the other 2 there. That's great competition there. Chris Archer and Roberto Hernandez.
Well, all across the board. I mean, Roberto Hernandez, a guy that's more than capable of throwing over 200 innings. Good sinker. If he keeps the ball in the strike zone, he can just wear out a lineup with ground ball after ground ball. And what Chris Archer, what we saw a little bit of him last year, and then how he's translated that into rolling it right into the spring. I mean, absolutely dominant. Big velocity. We've talked about the slider. Another guy throws strikes, overpowers people.
Ball's headed out of play. 2 strikes. Well, you take all 3 of those guys. Hernandez has that sinker, and they really like the idea of a guy who could throw ground balls like that. And he's shown good arm strength this spring. Archer has shown not only great arm strength, in fact, he hit 98 again the other day, but he's shown great makeup. Maybe mature beyond his years. And Neiman, the way he threw the ball yesterday, Joe Madden came away from that game really liking the movement, the late movement that he had up there in that outing.
Well, with Jeff Neiman, it's all about health. And when he's healthy, he's a top-line starter. I mean, we've seen him be as dominant as anybody on that Rays staff. He's got that great, that 6'9" frame, the great downhill plane that he's able to create with the fastball, and then you mix in the split and the curveball. He can absolutely take over a game, but it's all about staying healthy with him.
And a big pop-up. Escobar handles that for the first out of the inning. So Lavarnway, the DH, retired. Ryan Sweeney will be the hitter. Matt Moore making his 3rd appearance. Josh Lukey scheduled to be next, and then Sandoval's supposed to pitch, and Romero. A couple pretty good arms there. Breaking ball is in for a strike to Sweeney. Strike 1. Ball 1 strike. Rays got their runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. A couple of runs on 3 hits and an error in the mix. And there's the pitch count as it runs up here on Matt Moore. It's going to go through the right side. Nava stops the throw behind the runner to Escobar, taking the throw from Joyce. 2 men on the base hit now with 1 out.
Sweeney able to just push that ball, pull it over in the hole. Fastball down in the zone. He gets the ground ball he wants, but it eludes Kelly Johnson. Pulled a little bit up the middle defensively.
David Ross. Ross doing the catching. Outside of 3rd. Well, the Red Sox, as they try to put things back together, happy to have Ross, who has really made a name for himself primarily as a quality backup catcher. And it'll be interesting to see how much time he does see. They have Saltalamacchia on this club and Lavarnway. And Lavarnway, who's DHing, made a little progress defensively last year, but they like his bat as well. And there's some of the new faces, starting with John Farrell, their manager.
John Farrell coming down from Toronto to take over this Boston ball club. Mike Napoli, of course, the free agent coming over from the Texas Rangers. A lot of high-quality guys were added to this ball club. Not only proven track records, guys that are good in the clubhouse in the remaking of this franchise. Really, they're trying to do things on the go. I mean, Boston, at this point, doesn't ever want to say, we're going to rebuild. So they're trying to do this thing as they move forward. There are a lot of new faces.
And they do have some talent apparently in their farm system, but most of it is not ready right now. And so they're trying to buy a little time, a year and a half, 2 years. And so they've added a couple of those veterans there who've had a history of success.
Our good buddy Johnny Gomes spending a lot of time out in
left field.
Ross stays alive with a 2-strike count. Yeah, Johnny Gomes will liven it up for you.
Yes.
He'll make his presence felt. Ross being checked over here after that last foul ball.
Well, his quick reaction brought John Farrell hopping out of the dugout quick. It's right here. Really extends himself on that swing, and as he comes around, that's all it's going to take.
One out with runners at first and second. One ball, 2 strikes.
You know, managers and trainers right now are getting uber sensitive with the wrist issues. You know, Sam Fuld, of course, with the Rays. We saw the wrist issue and the surgery that he had to have. Jose Bautista up with the Toronto Blue Jays. What's happened with Mark Teixeira with the Yankees. And so anything with the wrist right now, and red flags start going off.
Lifted deep to left center. Rodriguez to the wall, and that ball is up over that wall and near the railing, and that's going to be ruled a home run. Nava and Sweeney will score in front of Ross. Well, apparently whatever was ailing him no longer is an issue. He just hit it out to give Boston a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, we've seen some fly balls struck well not get anywhere near that wall, and this ball just ends up working itself back out over the heart of the plate and right into the swing path of David Ross. Somebody's nachos.
So Ross makes it a 3-2 ball game. And the first pitch to Overbay is down. One ball, 1 strike. Well, I think the guy saved his nachos, didn't he? Did he? I thought he got his hand on it.
I think he did. I think he did. Got him
at all cost. And to right field, starting to sink, and that's a base hit in front of Joyce. Yeah, those nachos might have had a little grouper on them. Grouper nachos. So save that.
You know, fish tacos,
yeah.
grouper nachos.
Yeah. And no spillage either, apparently.
The pro.
And after that harrowing experience, he had to get more nourishment. So a 3-run home run by David Ross. By the way, that was the first hit of the spring for Ross. He'd gone 0 for 10 and then hit the 3-run home run. Overbay at first, Drew Sutton the hitter. That's a strike. And this has turned out to be a 20-plus inning, 20-plus pitch inning for Moore.
And you got the bullpen cranking up. Looks like it more than likely will be his last, starting to run up against it.
Over to first. Well, that was close. The step-off move. Overbay back in.
Well,
he had him lean in the first step-off move that he threw, but the throw was a little wide. That one on the bag and a close play.
Take another look at that pickoff attempt.
Right there, quick. It's just a quick, a lot of forearm wrist, just flip it over there. All you're trying to do is keep that runner close. Just even slow down his break by a split second.
Check swing, and yeah, that's the thing about doing something like that. Even if you don't pick him off, it could make the difference between a force play, maybe in second, or maybe you get a guy trying to go first to third.
He's doing a good job of not being predictable. He's thrown over twice on a step-off move. He's given a traditional pick-off move and a couple slide steps.
Foul ball, Longoria tracking it, and it's going to be out of play.
And the way that he's been working Sutton over there, or Overbay at first base, I mean, that right there, he goes high knee, and he's heading back towards first base.
Rays scored 2 in the third, and the Red Sox have 3 in the fourth. All coming on the David Ross home run. And a cut and a miss. Sutton out on strikes. Off speed got him. 2 gone, and with that, Joe Madden pops out of the Rays dugout. So the Rays are going to make a pitching change here with Matt Moore running into an extended inning in the fourth. So he's going to depart with a man at first and 2 outs, and we'll be back in a moment. We're back at Charlotte County. The Rays are down 3-2 in the middle of a pitching change. The left-hander Adam Levitor will take over for Matt Moore. Your impressions on Matt Moore?
Well, I thought Matt Moore came out of the gate with that fastball great, trying to establish that pitch in the zone and in the zone early, and I thought he did a nice job of that, really attacking, getting some easy outs, ground balls. Here's a lazy fly ball. Picked up a big strikeout against Dustin Pedroia. One of those ground balls we were talking about. Keep that ball down in the zone. These hitters are rolling over, and then a good overpowering fastball there that he kept right on the outside corner. One mistake right there, down and out over the plate. He's trying to go down and away with that ball, leaks back across the plate. That was after the inning in which he walked Daniel Nava to start that inning. Just that one mistake ends up costing him 3 runs, but overall, certainly some things to build upon for Matt Moore.
Yeah, we had him right there. You see his pitch count through 3 2/3, and to this point, allowing the 3 runs. And Adam Levator, the 25-year-old left-hander, so he'll face Pedro Siriaco, inheriting a runner at first. And that pitch is a strike. Levator divided his time between the AA and AAA level last year at Montgomery and Durham. Most of the time at Montgomery. It's a 1-1 count. Levator out of Tennessee Tech. Been in the Rays system since 2010. Escobar will make a high throw and sails it away from Loney. That will allow the inning to continue. So Siriaco is aboard, first and third.
That throw by Escobar, he came from the sidearm arm slot, and that ball just sailed on him. It looked to be a ground ball that was going to finish off this inning. Taylor-made, a nice high hop. And then right there, just a little bit lazy with the throw, trying to flip it over there and really yank that ball up and over Loney's head.
So the inning continues. Levator got the ground ball, but the error continues the inning, and the Boston threat for the top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury. That's a strike. Ellsbury walked in the third. One of a couple walks that Matt Moore surrendered in the 3 2/3 he walked. The runner delayed start, the throw down to second. They're going to get the tag on it there to retire the side. So Siriaco caught in a steal attempt. When we come back, Orestes Destrada talks with Derek Shelton, the Rays hitting coach. 1-run game.
Here at Port Charlotte Stadium, 3-2, bottom of the fourth. Boston leading, and with me is Derek Shelton, the hitting coach for the Tampa Bay Rays. Shelty, last year, man, a lot of injuries. We had Elo with 87 games missed. You had 66 for Luke Scott. What does it mean to you this year with this new crew and a lot of new faces if you can have a moderately healthy year?
Well, I think that's important for us. And, the first guy you mentioned, we need him in our lineup. So the more Longo's in our lineup, the better off we're going to be, just because it stabilizes everything and makes our lineup a little bit longer. So health is a big thing for us, but we're healthy so far this spring, which is exciting.
As far as Evan Longoria, I mean, we know that if he's healthy and plays 150 games, he's a perennial all-star. So is a guy that's now with the WBC and Team USA in Ben Zobrist. For me, that 3-4 will probably be that situation, whether it's Ben Zobrist hitting third, Evan Longoria hitting fourth, or vice versa. Which is better? You think Evan protecting Zobrist or Zobrist protecting Evan?
I think that's going to depend on the matchup, and that's one of the things Joe really does. He works on the matchup and where we're going, and the fact that we're going to have Joyce healthy this year and Luke Scott healthy this year, and the fact that Zoe is so versatile. So that's exciting right there. The fact that Zoe's so versatile, we're able to move him around.
Well, I tell you, there's a guy right there who got a base hit, and James Loney. He's been very successful with a couple of guys the last 2 years in Casey Kochman and Jeff Keppinger, who stayed above 300 pretty much all year. Maybe we weren't expecting that. But a guy like James Loney comes in under the radar. What are you expecting from James Loney and his counterpart at second base over there in Kelly Johnson, maybe playing the part of Keppinger?
Well, I think the big thing we're going to get on is we're going to get more contact, and that's what we need. We need to have the ability to move the ball and put the ball in play. You saw it last inning where we had the two runner third, less than 2 out situations, and we get the sacrifice fly from Longo, and we get Uni who hits a ground ball. So the one thing Loney does really well is use his hands, and he doesn't try to do too much. We need him to drive in runs, which is something he's done in the past. We don't need him to hit home runs, just hit the ball in the gap. And Kelly Johnson's been really good so far. I think there were some things he did different last year mechanically, and he worked on this winter, and we're working on this spring, and I think he's in a really good spot.
Shelty, there he goes. And there's another aspect of this team that I think you're going to see a little more than last year, is that you're going to be doing a lot of first and thirds. We saw Kelly Johnson already steal a bag. We know what Jennings can do. Escobar, Rodriguez. Do you think we're going to be able to use a lot of more foot speed on the base pass this year?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing we're going to be able to do. We're probably going to be able to be more consistent. Last year it would be a walk. We needed a ball in the gap. But I think the fact that we're going to be able to move the ball more, Joe's going to be able to hit and run. And I think it's going to be closer to 2011 where we were able to do some things, like you said, with Casey Kochman. We got some guys that they're going to be able to put the ball in play, so we're going to have more first and third situations.
A lot of people talking about maybe less power. I actually don't look at it like that. Considering you finished 10th in the major leagues last year out of 30 teams with 175 home runs, and you had all those injuries and all those miss at bats and miss home runs, all those guys are healthy and back now, Scott, Longoria, etc. And then you've added some 15, 20 homer guys. What do you think about the home runs this year? And the potential to kind of repeat last year or better last year.
Yeah, and you know what? As you all know, the home runs kind of come. As we've said all along, home runs are thrown; they're not hit. So it's a situation we want to score runs. So whether it comes via the home run or it comes just the fact that we move some runners along, it really doesn't matter. Because as you watch games in our ballpark, the ball doesn't fly out of there. So the home runs aren't as important as just making sure we put ourselves in run scoring situations.
As a hitting coach, Joe changes the lineup quite a bit. How's your job? How does that make your job a little more difficult? You're trying to input some information to him. How does all that dynamics work?
Well, I think the big thing is Joe plays matchups a lot, which, has worked out. The more consistent our lineup is, I think the better it is. But, the one thing we've had the last few years with the different injuries we've had and the different personnel, we kind of fluctuate a lot. So to have a consistent lineup has been difficult. I think this year we'll probably have one that's more consistent, and it'll put us in a better position.
Well, there you have it, Derek Shelton, and hopefully, Shelty, we might have gotten ourselves a run here. Almost there, but thanks a lot, Derek, and back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, thanks, all. Jimenez made a bid for one into that right field corner, but Sweeney got over there to make the catch. Some interesting points brought up there, BA, I think, in that conversation, because the Rays have lost 40% of their home run total in terms of exits of hitters this year. But I think there are a couple of points to be made there, and they addressed it. One, there will be more contact, and Loney he's going to be one of the reasons that there's a lot more contact. He just doesn't strike out that often, and that gives the Rays more options. Longoria will be in the lineup more, so that takes care of part of any potential power deficit, I think, that they were discussing. And so I think the point that O made there has some merit. And Joe Madden was saying, you know, here's a team that scored 697 runs last year. And Joe was saying today before the game, he thought almost by happenstance there have to be 50 or 60 more runs in just the club as it's constituted right now than that. And there could be even more than that. 1-1 the count to Cust.
That certainly did get frustrating at times last year offensively. And you, like you said, you have to believe just by virtue of a new year that they're going to score more than they did last year. You got to figure on a healthy Evan Longoria, but I like the idea of putting the ball in play. You give yourself a chance there. You find a hole. Yep. You move a runner up another base. You know, it could even be a situation where instead of taking that strikeout with a runner on second base and nobody out, you may ground out to the right side, but even by doing that, you move him up, yep. And then he scores on a sacrifice fly. So a lot of different ways. Put it this way, you give yourself a chance when you put the ball in play.
Cust up in the count, 3-1. Hitting against the shift. Takes a rip, and the count is full.
Well, that's the thing with Jack Cust. He is always going to take a rip. I mean, he's got definite holes in his swing, but you had better execute your pitches, because if you miss, he will make you pay in a big way.
John Lackey on the hill for Boston. Rays got a couple runs off him in the third. So an error in that inning. And Cust is out on strikes as Lackey comes back to get him. Second strikeout of the day for John Lackey and John Farrell.
He's able to power this ball right below the bat of Jack Cust. This pitch was out over the plate, but you see that heavy lift in the swing by Cust and just over the top.
Well, I would think the Red Sox would be happy with the outing they got from Lackey today. And we'll be back with a new pitcher in a moment.
We are in the bottom of the fourth inning, 2 outs. The Rays trail the Red Sox 3-2. Well, the Rays are ready for another exciting season in 2013, and you can experience it with Rays season tickets to get the best seats, the biggest savings, and exclusive benefits throughout the year. There are a variety of plans to choose from with the flexible payment options available. To get your seats, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com right now.
Well, there's a great way to spend the afternoon. Weather has been picture perfect. And Clayton Mortensen going to be the new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. Mortensen taking over for John Lackey.
Tall, lanky right-hander. High-energy guy. Almost a strikeout an inning. There's a good look right there at John Lackey, who did a really nice job today for the Red Sox. Like you said, Dwayne, you'd have to be thrilled coming back from Tommy John surgery and just your third outing of spring training after missing all of last year. And for the most part, looked pretty sharp. Ball came out of his hand nice. He moved it around the zone.
So the 34-year-old right-hander, a positive outing for him and the Red Sox today. And with a runner, James Loney at first, Leslie Anderson will face Mortensen. Mortensen drafted by Tampa Bay back in 2005, but went to college, went to Gonzaga University in Washington. And the pitch is a strike. 65 pitches there for Lackey today. Pop to the left side. Sutton. Foul territory. And that retires the side. Rays leave a man. When we come back, Todd Kalish chats with Rays manager Joe Madden.
Game in favor of the Red Sox as we head to the fifth inning. Joining us is the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, Joe Madden. Joe, your thoughts on your starter today, Matt Morris? Kind of like where he's been this spring, some good, some not so good?
Very good. Yeah, not real sharp yet. With the fastball command hasn't been good, even with the breaking stuff. He threw a couple good changeups, I thought. Maybe 5 really good fastballs with good delivery, good finish over here, but overall still not quite there.
Did I misinterpret something you said before the game? Because you thought, because of a TV game, that Jim Hickey would make the changes, yet there you were on the mound.
Well, in a situation like that, we gave up a couple points in the fourth. I did not want to have Hick go out there and have him think I was upset with him. So we're going to change in a minute here with Adam. We're going to bring Luke into the game, and then Coach Hickey will get to go out there.
So he will get his TV time.
Yeah, he deserves his TV time.
Yeah, I know. That's a big factor for him. Scoring those 2 runs in the third inning, that was kind of the way you guys see this season, right? The way you advance runners, the first and third 2-out stolen base. Is that a little bit of a product of the lack of the third to first pickoff move, that you can be more aggressive in that situation?
It can be, and that's the point about that move. Everybody always would say during the game when a pitcher would try that, oh, that play never works. For me, it always worked. The fact that you are taking that threat or that thought away from the runner at first base, it really opens up a lot of things. But then it's up to the organizational philosophy, what they may want to do or not want to do. They want to try to take advantage of that. Do they still not like that? Do you have the personnel to do those kind of things? So it's still up in the air a bit.
The thing I've noticed today and yesterday, sack flies, your guy... And that's something that, some teams take for granted, but that paid off. The other guy...
Yeah, multiple runners. When there's multiple runners, you're the guy at third base. You got to run, because if it was with 1 out, then the second out is the fly ball catch. If the runner had gotten tagged out at second base before you cross the plate, that run does not score. So whenever you tag up in third and come to the plate, just run hard through the plate and don't assume anything.
Where are you right now? I know you were shocked to mention that we're only about halfway through the spring season. Where are you right now? We're trying to formulate your lineup, and I know one of the big things was identifying lefties against lefties that you can go with during the season.
Right, and we're still playing with the whole thing. We got to get Luke back out there on a more consistent basis, see where he's at. The big thing, like I said, would be to try to protect Longo and also to set up Longo. Ben Zobrist is one of the best to do that in regards to setting up, but he could also protect. I think if we could have Desmond continue to do what he's doing right now, that's obviously a great setup for the number 3 and 4 hitter. He looks really, really good. So when you're trying to put the lineup together, For me, it's about the protection and also the setting up, and we're trying to do that with Longo. Here he goes. Here he goes. Watch
Hickey time.
There's the run. There's the big run.
So
Hey, look at the nice little, look at the finger point. Hey.
You like that move, huh?
Well, he's been practicing all morning.
Jim Hickey gets some TV time. We'll come back with more with Joe Madden after this. Rays trailing 3-2. Here with 1 out and nobody on. Joe Madden continuing our conversation with him. Last inning we saw James Loney with a base hit, and also moving on the bases a little bit. That offers you a little dimension at first base, maybe offensively, that not a lot of teams have.
Yeah, he's a nice player, man. I'm getting to know him right now. I like his calmness about his game. Superb defender at first base. Offensively, more of a line drive hitter like you're seeing all over the ballpark. He has some power. I talked to him about that today. Just let it happen. Don't try to force the power. When hitters hit home runs, the pitcher normally throws it. It's more than the hitter trying to hit it. So let the home runs just come naturally. Play your game and don't try to be anybody else.
Is that one of those moments where you try and tell him, tell me what you know, not what you've heard about hitting home runs?
Exactly. You know, you read all these different things about him coming into this, and different people wanted to offer me an opinion about him. And then just through our meetings and getting to know him over the course of the first couple of weeks, so you could see that this is the kind of player that he is, and it's a very good player. I think sometimes players, coaches, management tries to force ideals on somebody. Maybe he's not quite like that. This guy's a really good Major League Baseball player. I think if we get him to feel comfortable here and permit him to just play his kind of game, we're going to be very pleased at the end of the season.
As we move around the infield, we see two new faces as well who've played together before, Kelly Johnson and Yunel Escobar, and they can also give you some pop in the infield.
They can. Kelly's already hit 20-some, almost 30 home runs in the season. He has that. If you watch him in batting practice, it's very obvious. Also, if you watch very closely, this guy's very strong. He's actually pretty big. As the shortstop goes, if you stand up next to him, this guy is strong. He made that mistake earlier, but he's not going to make many on defense. Love his attitude so far. He's been really into everything that we're doing. His work's been fantastic. But those two guys working together is very nice.
Josh Lukey facing Dustin Pedroia. Rays trailing 3-2 in the fifth inning. Joe Madden joining us on this, our first spring training telecast on Sun. Joe, Adopt a Legend program. You started last year, the year before, and it's kind of flourished. And tell us about your legend too.
Yeah, Cecil, I ran into him last year at the Trop. He was down for a game at one point. I had worked with him in Anaheim several years ago. He's outstanding. I was a younger coach in the big leagues at that time. He treated me wonderfully with great respect. We always had great conversations. So last year when I saw him up there, I invited him down this particular camp. Already he's had a very good time. He's having a blast, actually, and a lot of the players walked up to him during the course of batting practice, tried to pick his brain a little bit, but he's always a fun guy to be around, laughs easily, and he's a pretty good hitter back in his day.
There is big Cecil Fielder. We're seeing him right now. He and Cuz.
Giving Cuz a hard time.
Joe, the guy on the mound today, a guy that Rays acquired from Seattle in the John Jaso trade, didn't maybe see his best at times last year, but you've seen a little different Josh Lukey this spring.
Besides the beard, much better delivery. You're going to see more pitches down, fastballs down in the zone. He's got a really good changeup off of that, a nice slider, slur, breaking ball, whatever you want to call it. But just his whole mound demeanor has gotten better. He's more confident already, but I like the delivery. I like the ball down. I like the fastball being thrown for a strike more when he wants to. See, this ball gets down in the zone. Actually up right there. You don't want to pitch for Pedroia up there too often.
No. Although it was 0-2.
That's right.
But yeah,
a little bit higher than that would have been okay.
Well, it's time to send it back to the boys. Does it really feel like spring now that BA's here?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I saw BA this morning in the clubhouse. Once we saw him officially, spring training began. It was wonderful to see him. I guess he's in and out of town. You know, the superstars get to come and go as they wish. But he'll be back in a couple days, and we're looking forward to having him back at that point, too.
Back to Dwayne and the superstar, guys.
All right, thank you, and glad that he could join us here on Sun. A little chopper to short. Escobar takes care of that. Pedroia's out of there. So 2 up and 2 down. Pedroia retired by Lukey. Lukey retiring the first man he faces. Yeah, you know, the look that he gives you with that beard, it's so fitting that he would have been acquired for John Jaso. I mean, they just...
Woodsman.
Yeah.
You know if there's trouble that they know where the fallout shelter is.
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
probably had a hand in building it.
Yeah, and they could have run across each other camping at some point. 2 gone. Here's Daniel Nava. The pitch is down.
Yeah, that's an aggressive look for spring training.
Well, you know, Madden, it's interesting because Joe has said he's got a rule. You run to first base, run hard, and no matter how you want to dress, if you think you look hot that way, then that's the way you're going to dress.
And that's what I'm thinking about. I mean, spring training, mornings, run, it's warm, it's hot, cannot be comfortable.
Well, he looks hot then. There's a strike at the knees, and it's a 1-1 count.
It is impressive. I'll give him that.
Yep. And I think he's done a little trimming work on that.
Yes, no, there's no question.
It was longer at one point.
Yeah. It's been sculpted, too.
High fly ball to right. And Joyce waiting for that one to retire the side. We go to the home half of inning 5. 3-2 Boston.
Port Charlotte, Boston Red Sox lead the Tampa Bay Rays 3-2. Well, Fox Saturday Baseball returns with 3 great matchups as Angels outfielder Josh Hamilton returns to Texas to take on the Rangers, or the Yankees battle the defending AL champion Tigers, or the Cardinals take on the World Series champion San Francisco Giants in a rematch of the National League Championship Series. The debut of Fox Baseball, Fox Saturday Baseball, is April 6th. Getting a jump on it this year.
The tall right-hander Clayton Mortensen. Lackey worked the front 3 2/3. Mortensen came on and got Anderson to end the 4th. Sean Rodriguez will open the bottom of the 5th inning. And then back around to Escobar and Johnson. The Rays scored 2 runs in the 3rd. Escobar picked up an RBI on an infield hit. Longoria's sacrifice fly scored another run. Boston got 3 in the 4th on the home run by David Ross, their catcher. So here's Sean Rodriguez. Pitch is high. Mortensen, as we Mentioned originally drafted and signed by the Cardinals after the Rays had drafted him, and he went to college, and the Cardinals signed him. He got the big leagues in 2009 briefly, and divided time with the Cardinals and the Oakland Athletics. Had a stop with the Rockies, and last year with the Red Sox. It's 1-2. Count squares, 2-2. John with a couple home runs this spring, and singled and scored in the third of this game. A number. And Rodriguez is out at first. The Rays and the Red Sox will meet 19 times during the regular season, so these two teams will be seeing a lot of each other. Last year, they divided the 18-game season series right down the middle at 9-9. Escobar. And a strike. Escobar shortens on that bat. Escobar, 30 years old. Sutton, third to first. Couple ground balls, 2 outs.
Number 2, Kelly Johnson.
Kelly Johnson. Here's a walk and a steal. One ball, no strikes. John Lackey started, pitched 3 2/3, and now Mortensen. Rays have had a nice little winning run going here. They won 4 straight, 11-4 for the spring. So the count goes to 2-2.
Well, that's what, when Joe had said, best team that he's had here as a manager at this point in spring training. They're doing everything well, playing sound, fundamental baseball, and it's showing up in the win-loss column. Not that that makes a lot of difference here in spring training, but still, you want to be executing, doing things well, integrating the new players. Everybody's buying into the system.
Well, I think they feel a lot better this spring than they did last year. They were confident that they were going to have a good club last year, but they did have a little concern about depth. And there were some signs about the defense early in the spring last year, and that unfortunately carried over into the regular season. We're going to head into the 6th inning. It's 3-2 Boston.
And welcome back here. 3-2 top of the 6th. Boston leading the Rays. And I tell you what, I had the humble pleasure, and there's my boy George Hendricks right here, of going on a trip on behalf of Fox Sports with Hall of Famers Wade Boggs and Raleigh Fingers, also All-Star Tim Salmon, and also David Justice, and the Fox Sports girls. We've got to go to Germany, Grafenbier, Germany, spend 5 days there, bringing baseball to the troops. And also, they taught us how to be soldiers, and we failed miserably. But I will say this. It was an incredible experience, and one that I'll never forget. We also got to play some wiffle ball with the kids. We held a clinic. There's Wade Boggs, who did a great job with the kids. We visited the schools. The kids were so well behaved. And I've just, guys, an appreciation that I have for our servicemen and women to another level going over to Germany. I've been fortunate enough to go visit, on day visits at MacDill and at Fort Campbell and a few other places. But this trip where I got to actually, and we got to be kind of embedded with them for 4 days was something special to behold and really neat to see what kind of job they do. I will say one other thing. These guys work hard. PT at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, which we're mixed in with. We also were able to do an IMAX theater where we were on a Humvee, and it simulated the terrain in Afghanistan. So then it really brought to life the reality of what they go through, trying to prepare for insurgents, trying to prepare for IEDs, trying to prepare for so many different things that can happen when they're in a convoy. It really made it real. And I just take my hat off, literally, to all our servicemen and women and thank them. And I also thank Fox for including me in this incredible trip. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Well, the men and women in the military are the front line, and they are day in and day out remarkable people. And you talk about making the ultimate sacrifice. They do. And we are forever grateful to all of them. 1-2 the count to Ryan Lavarnway. Josh Lukey back out there on the hill for the Rays. He got the last 2 outs in the 5th. And he strikes out Lavarnway here in the 6th inning. And that pitch disappeared.
Well, great finish on this off speed. Get right on top of that. That ball just buries itself right into the dirt. Gets the swing by Lavarnway. Great put away.
Ryan Sweeney. One of the things Joe Madden and Jim Hickey talked about Lukey is that his delivery has been simplified a bit. A little more compact.
Another testament to the coaching staff here. Jim Hickey's so good at making mechanical adjustments and getting pitchers to buy into them. Becomes a collaboration on the part of both of them. And you make those little adjustments, and the more efficient you can become and simplify things, able to keep that ball in the zone. Look what happened with Fernando Rodney last year. I mean, the big jump, it wasn't his stuff. He's always had tremendous stuff. It was the fact that he kept the stuff in the zone when he wanted to, and then took it out of the zone when he wanted to, and that's why he was so dominant.
Two balls and a strike. Yeah, that's a fine line for a pitcher to make those adjustments. And if you have a pitching coach who they have confidence in, that is a major step and a valuable part of an organization to have a pitching coach with the success that Jim Hickey has had. Driven deep to center. Sean Rodriguez is there and makes the catch. Crosswind out there, and Sean played it well, made the grab.
Well, that makes the home run by David Ross all the more impressive, because there have been some balls struck well today that haven't gone anywhere.
And right now, the home run by David Ross, the difference in this game. And a 3-run home run in the 4th to give the Boston Red Sox a 3-2 lead. 1 ball, no strikes. This ball hard, and it's just foul. Colin Klein on the call up the left field line. So the count is 1-1.
You go right from taking snaps under center at Kansas State to umpiring third base.
There you go. Hey,
it's amazing. Talented individual.
It's a little wide. 2 balls and a strike. Well, if the Rays had some issues with the offense last year, you couldn't tell that by their offense recently here in the spring. They've been scoring a lot of runs, including yesterday. They've been limited to 2 runs, 4 hits through the first 5 of this game. Facing John Lackey and Clayton Mortensen. Matt Moore started for the Rays, pitched 3 2/3. Adam Liebetor got credit for 2/3 of an inning, and now Lukey. Foul ball by Ross runs the count full. The Rays have averaged well over 5.5 runs a game down here this spring. And that takes care of Ross. Turned out to be a nice inning by Lukey. He fired that one by the Boston catcher. We go to the bottom half of inning 6, and it's a 3-2 ball game. Red Sox lead the Rays. Rays scored 2 in the 3rd, and Boston 3 in the 4th inning. And it will be the middle part of the order for the Rays here. Longoria, Joyce, and Loney. Take a look at the job Josh Lukey's done so far.
Boy, I thought he was sharp today. Good off-speed pitch there, taking it out of the zone, getting the chase from LaVarn way. And then that fastball to end the inning, the strikeout of Ross. That, talk about a power fastball. Ross was noticeably tardy on that one. Nice day.
So Lukey, those 2 strikeouts in the inning, and as we go to the bottom of the 6th, the pitching change for Boston, Koji Uehara will take over to face the middle part of the order. Hey, let's check in with Todd right here. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, thank you. Joel Peralta joins us, kind of like El Capitan of the bullpen, one of the guys that leads the bullpen. I want to talk about Sandoval in a second, but I know you're just talking to Lukey, and the guys were just talking about Lukey. He looks different this spring than last year, huh?
Well, he's been really good. He's been working some stuff that he needs to get better at, and he's doing it. He's doing it.
Tell us about the guy that's going to pitch the 7th inning. You're now not only an 8th inning setup guy for Fernando Rodney, but a part-time scout. You helped find this guy for Andrew Friedman of the Rays, Juan Sandoval.
That's what I say. I mean, he's my boy, from my hometown, and it happens, that we play together, and why not? I got a chance to help him out, and I know he got the great stuff to be here. So we did. I mean, we talked to Andrew about it and bring it here.
It's an incredible story, sight in one eye, and you saw him in the Winter League, and you saw something that could help out the Rays for maybe even as early as this year, huh?
Yeah, well, I know him, I know him since a long time ago, before that happened to him. He was a big-time prospect for the that happened to him, and then I spent I was watching him pitch. He went to a Mexican league, and we got to play together in Winter Ball this year. And I saw the stuff that he got. He was unbelievable. I mean, and then I thought myself, like, why not to be, have a chance to come to the United States with, one of these teams and give it a shot to see what can happen. And I told Andrew, this guy, he's the guy only got one eye. Andrew said, the only thing he says, he paused and he goes like, which eye? Then, I told him it was the right eye. He goes, all right, no problem, let's keep tracking this guy. And he's pretty good. He got great stuff. And I think, if he's not out of the spring training during the season, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be with us.
So you sold him on the arm, and then at some point during your conversation with Andrew, you had to tell him about the fact that he has one eye.
Yeah, because I told him all the good stuff that he got. A guy that sometimes probably touched 97 miles per hour, with a heavy sinker, good slider, and, working his split finger against lefties. And the guy, Andrew's listening to me, all this good stuff, and probably wondering, why is this guy not playing in the United States? So I told him myself, hey, probably it's because he got only one eye and nobody want to give him a chance. And Andrew, he didn't even talk. He just jumped in and said, okay, let's take a look at the couple days, and we got him.
Joel Peralta sent some video up. Next thing you know, he signs with the Rays, and he is having quite a spring. We'll see Juan Sandoval in the 7th inning, thanks to part-time scout Joel Peralta. Guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Yeah, and Jim Hickey said the more he has seen of him, the more he likes. And whether he breaks camp with the team or not, if he goes to AAA, and I think Peralta had a point there. The way the season sometimes works its way out, you're going to use more than just the pitchers you break camp with. Pitcher will cover and take the throw to get Joyce. The toss from the second baseman. Two gone now in the 6th inning. So the bases are empty, and James Loney will be the hitter.
See Koji Uehara, another new face for the Red Sox, coming over with from Texas. 1.75 earned run average, 43 strikeouts in 36 innings, and he's not a guy that's going to blow you away with his stuff. I mean, he's in the upper 80s. Maybe he'll touch 90 here and there, but he'll work that fastball up in the zone, the good split below the zone, and that's how he's able to rack up those strikeouts. Tantalize you with the heater, get you to chase it, and then finish off with the split.
And Loney fouls it back. 1-1. It's going to be interesting to watch Loney with his first base play and his offense. Boy, at one time the Dodgers projected him to be a big-time offensive player. Oh, it's 1-2, but there's not going to be that kind of expectation under Joe Madden here. And we heard Joe talk about him earlier in the afternoon. He thinks he, number one, is a good major league player and will contribute offensively beyond his excellent defense.
Well, what ends up happening? I mean, when they put those kind of expectations on you, you start to maybe try to become somebody that you're not. And this is the perfect situation where you talk about a manager and a coaching staff that will let you be who you are and just go out there and play your game. This is it.
Well, that pitch disappeared on Loney. So we're headed into the 7th. It's 3-2 Boston.
Hey, we're back here in Port Charlotte, top of the 7th. Boston leading 3-2, and with me is big James Loney. James, first of all, man, this has been the third uniform you've worn within a year. Not like in the last couple of 3 years. Within a year, calendar year, this is the third uniform. How is this uniform feeling so far in spring training? I know you've heard a lot about the Rays and what type of team they are, but how's it going so far?
Yeah, it's been great. We've been having a lot of fun here, and just be yourself here, play hard, and we win some games.
And you come from a high-powered area in Los Angeles and the Dodgers, and then you spent a little time last year with Boston Red Sox. But I think you bring a lot of veteran, possible leadership here with this team. Definitely great defense. What are you expecting for your year this year offensively?
I expect a lot, just being consistent and, making hard contact. That's what I've done in the past. So, as far as leadership goes, growing into that and, becoming one of those guys.
How tough has it been to go from pretty much the last several years in the National League? I know you had a little taste a couple of months last year in the American League. Is there something that you've had to do a little studying this winter with some staffs and then trying to figure that out?
It's not too much during the offseason. A lot of times, I saw some guys last year, and I know a lot of these guys, but I usually prepare, for the games just a few days ahead. So
the defense, as you've heard a lot about, is so important for this team. Last year they had a down year after being number one for several years. I know you pride yourself a lot in your defense. Talk a little bit about that and what you can hopefully help out with.
Yeah, no, definitely. Anytime these guys are trying to make great plays, sometimes you can help them out with a throw or, just be in a good position to help them out any way they can. So.
Well, James, I tell you what, we're excited to have you here, and good luck this year. Stay healthy, and hopefully have a great campaign.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Back to you guys, James Loney, the Rays first baseman.
All right, Orestes, thank you very much. Here in the top of the 7th inning, Lyle Overbay has just opened with a base hit facing Juan Sandoval. And we got a little preview from that conversation from Todd Callis and Joel Peralta on Sandoval. And his story is quite remarkable. And he's been impressive this spring. Drew Sutton, the hitter. 1 ball and no strikes. Overbay has been lifted for a pinch runner, and Mauro Gomez is running for him at first. Other changes in the game as well defensively. We'll get to those in a moment. It's a 2-0 count.
Well, the thing that jumps out at you about Sandoval right now is the loose arm action. Able to get good finish on his pitches, which obviously leads to the good sink, big velocity.
Yeah, he's consistently 94, 95 with his velocity with the sink, and that's the first thing that will light a pitching coach's eyes right up. And so that's been a pleasant development in camp. He lost the sight in his right eye in an incident in the winter of 2006. Pitch in off the plate, and that snapped down to first. Gomez back in.
That's one of those pitches too. You come in with a fastball like that close to the hitter, you back him up off the plate, then come with that hard power sinker down and away. Try to get him to roll over it, get a little 2-for-1 action.
And ball 4. So Sutton draws the walk. 2 men on with nobody out here in the 7th.
Shortstop number 23, Pedro Siriaco.
Siriaco is due. And one of the defensive changes, we get a look at Will Myers at right field for the Rays. He was on the travel squad and played in the game yesterday against the Phillies in Clearwater, and is in there in the 7th inning at right field this afternoon.
Obviously the principal headliner in the James Shields trade, Wade Davis.
Yep. Hak-Ju Lee in the game at shortstop now. A new look on the infield. And Siriaco, the hitter. Pitch is a strike. Holt is running at first. Brock Holt, the pinch runner, at first, with Gomez at second. It's 1-1. Sandoval was originally signed by the Seattle Mariners back in 2000. Pitched for them, starting in their organization in 2001. Up the middle, over the bag, and through into center. Gomez heads to the plate. Throw up the line. And it's 4-2. Siriaco drives in the run.
And that was a nice job by Siriaco. Having that power sinker that Sandoval has, still in a situation of first and second. You're looking for that ground ball, try to get a double play, but Siriaco does a nice job of just poking that ball right up the middle, squeezes it by the Rays infielders, and drives in a run.
Now Shannon Wilkerson. Wilkerson will bat in the place of Ellsbury. And a strike to Wilkerson. So a run home. 2 men on and nobody out in the 7th. Three runs given up by Moore, and now one charge to Sandoval. Chop, shortstop. Lee steps on the bag and goes to first to Shelley Duncan, and they get the double play. And that's what that sinking action can get for you.
Well, you always have an out. You give up a hit, you give up a walk, but you always have that good power sinker to try to get that ground ball. And this time he's able to do it. Gets in on Wilkerson, eats him up. Easy play for Lee.
And here's Ryan Dent. Ball, no strikes. So Lee's at short. Figueroa's in there at second. We saw Duncan on the backside of that double play take the throw at first. Mike Fontenot is in the game at third base. That's around the knees for a strike. So the double play takes care of two. One run is scored, and the Rays trail by 2. The count goes to 2-1. And all of these substitutions here on the infield. I mean, Lee, big prospect, and the Rays would like to see him continue to develop as a shortstop and develop the offensive side of his game. And the other late entries here Fontenot at third. He's one of the guys we talked about that they brought in, and they really feel confident in him that they've upgraded their second line and their depth. Cole Figueroa is at second base now, and Joe Madden has been very impressed with the way he plays the game. And Shelley Duncan's another guy at first they feel could at some point contribute to the success of this team this coming year.
And you would like to see him do that, being a right-handed bat, raise heavy on lefties. I'd like to see a right-handed threat available to Joe.
And the pitch is ball 4 down.
It was not a bad pitch either. Good fastball there by Sandoval. We've seen a few of those today. A good knee-high fastball not being called. This has got to be right on the cusp. Just a touchdown.
Jeremy Hazelbaker will come on to bat in the place originally occupied by Daniel Nava. This one skips away, deflects off the plate umpire Fairchild, and the run will score from third as Hart crosses the plate. And moving into second is Dent. And that will make it a 3-run ball game, 5-2 Boston.
Here's the pitch. Chris Jimenez reaches back for it, not quite able to get there. Off the glove, off Fairchild, and a run comes home. Fastball by Sandoval just yanked back across the plate and just led to an elongated 7th inning.
And we're looking forward to the 7th inning stretch. It's overdue.
We've already done it.
Pitch is wide. 2-0. Red Sox have added a couple runs here. Dent's at second. Hazelbaker in the batter's box. And he pulls this one back toward the right field corner. That's going to score Dent, and Hazelbaker will make the turn and hold at second with a double. It's another 3-run inning for the Red Sox, and they built a 6-2 lead.
Well, Hazelbaker gets an offering right there, down and in. Well, you see the sweet swing. Lefties so many times drop the head on that pitch and hit it hard. He's able to get this one down into the corner.
And Mark Hamilton will be the pinch hitter now for the DH Lavarnway. And that pitch is in there for a strike. Ball, 1 strike. Hamilton has seen some big league action when he was in the Cardinals system. Briefly with the Cardinals in 2010 and 2011. Count is 2-1. That pitch is wide. So it turns out to be an extended inning for Sandoval.
Speaking of elongated, how about Hazel Baker's name on the back of his jersey?
It barely fits.
He's got letters up in his armpits.
And it's popped back at third. Lee hustling out from short and can't get there, and he slides into the tarp, and let's hope he is all right. Boy, that is very dangerous, to come full speed ahead and then sliding to find the tarp there abruptly.
Well, that was the thing. He wasn't sliding for a while and then came into contact. It happened right away, and that's where you get worried about that jarring action on the ankle, the knee. Well, watch this, the aggressiveness going after that ball. Boy, that is dangerous. That's even a worse look right there.
Yeah, it's scary, and particularly for anyone, because the risk of injury is a major factor right there. But he fortunately appears to be just fine. Good cut by Hamilton to foul that 3-2 pitch back. Ball 4 stays wide. So that's the third walk here in this inning.
Right fielder number 75, Juan Carlos Linares.
And Juan Carlos Linares will be the hitter to bat for Sweeney. Yeah, that injury, a potential injury to a guy like Lee, you know, there's a great shortstop prospect, and he's been noted as at various times the best base runner in the Rays farm system. That's a big part of his game. Fortunate that he was all right. One strike to count to Linares. Picks up the corner, says Chad Fairchild. 0-2. Linares, the 8th hitter to bat for the Red Sox in this inning. The miss. Linares out on strikes. 8 men come to the plate. The Red Sox score 3 and lead 6-2.
work to do as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox lead 6-2. Well, David Price's stellar 2012 season earned him the American League Cy Young Award. Watch him defend his title throughout the season. And on Saturday, April the 6th, the first 20,000 fans will receive a David Price Cy Young figurine presented by the Tampa Bay Times. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS.
Well, the Rays will face the veteran right-hander Daniel Bard. And Bard last year had a very difficult season as they tried to transition him into the rotation. He had, as you know, been dominant out of the bullpen, and things just did not work out at all. And so he's in the Boston camp actually trying to find a spot.
See the numbers from last year, the hard-throwing right-hander, and you're right, that was just a move that did not work out, trying to find it once again. A lot of new faces have come over into that bullpen. Andrew Bailey, the closer last year, who missed a significant amount of time, is now going to be a setup guy for Joel Hanrahan, who was traded for. You got Koji Uehara. Daniel Bard looking for his spot.
So we'll see what the Rays can do here in the bottom of the 7th, down 6-2 against Daniel Bard. Christian Vasquez has taken over behind the plate, so a new battery for Boston. And Chris Jimenez leads off. Pitch is upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Jimenez 0 for 2 today. He's had a very good spring, and as we mentioned at the outset, he's been involved in the battle for one of the catching spots on this club. Jose Lobaton, the prime competition, and in that matchup there, Lobaton may have an advantage in that he's out of options, and Jimenez has an option left.
And the Rays love to hold on to their assets, if at all possible. Well, and the refreshing thing, too, is Jimenez has said, listen, that's out of my hands. All I can do is take care of my own business, and whatever time it comes for them to make a decision, make it as hard on them as I possibly can.
Yep.
That's a great attitude.
And that's the impressive thing about Jimenez from our exposure to him when he came over here. Not only is he a hard worker and very bright, but he has a great attitude that you get the idea transcends just playing baseball. And a base hit. So Jimenez is aboard to start the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, that's been the story for Jimenez all spring long. Make a mistake, and he hasn't missed it. This ball up in the zone. Bard has consistently been up there during the course of this at-bat, and Jimenez a nice job with that swing right there, getting on top of it, rifling that ball into left field. Good way to end the day.
Jack Cust up there again, serving as the designated hitter. Well, he takes a big cut. Got a little piece of it to foul it. Strike 1. 6 runs, 7 hits for Boston, 2 runs, 5 hits for the Rays. The Rays pitching, not only have they had good offense, but the pitching staff leads the Grapefruit League with a team ERA of 3.85, second only in all of spring training baseball to the Kansas City Royals, who are having a fabulous spring in Arizona, and their pitching staff comes in at 3.36.
Which is impressive for Arizona. The ball typically flies out there.
Yep.
You know, much like the Rays in 2008, you start to try to build that culture of winning during spring training. Say these games do matter. We want to feel what it's like to win ball games, and hopefully that translates and rolls right into the season.
There's Brandon Guyer running for Jimenez over at first base after Chris opened the inning with a base hit. That puts Cuss down on the count. Check. Cust is a guy with that power who can get a couple runs back for you in a hurry. So we go full on the count now. Geyer takes off. Cust is out on strikes, and Geyer is out trying to steal at second. So they strike him out, throw him out, double play. The Rays lose the base runner.
Well, again, a pitch that was out over the plate to Cust, and he swings right over the top of it. A quick throw down there, and plenty of time to get Geyer. Well, right there, he knows he's in trouble.
Jonathan Diaz put the tag on him. First pitch to Leslie Anderson is a strike. That started wide and caught the corner. 0-2. Both the Rays runs came in the third inning. They opened the scoring, and then Boston scored 3 in the fourth and 3 in the seventh. Look out in there, fellas, into the Rays dugout. But to have Daniel Bard return to his form would be a major lift to the Red Sox as they try to put the pieces back together.
Well, if they could do that, would just further strengthen that bullpen. Also featuring Andrew Miller from the left side.
And the count is 2-2.
And that's why, you know, we talked about John Lackey making the start in today's game, how important he is down in that 3 spot. You've got Felix Dubron, who's throwing the ball well. Ryan Dempster's come over to help out. And of course, Clay Buchholz and John Lester.
And a tap right side. Quick toss to first, and Anderson is out of there. And then to Gomez. We go to the 8th. Rays down 6-2.
It is 6-2 Boston as we head to the 8th inning, and talking right now to Chris Jimenez, Ray's catcher, who just came out of the game after a base hit. You got to 3-0. You knew it was your last at bat. Is that one of those cases where it's spring training, you don't mind that 3-0 strike so you can hit the next pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just sitting up there thinking 3-1. If I can get to 3-1, I got a shot. And just kind of, it's still a situation where you got to kind of keep your head about you, but I was either going to kill somebody in their dugout or I was going to hit it hard. Thankfully, it worked out the latter.
Right now, we have Jose Molina playing in the World Baseball Classic, giving you some extra reps. Probably not a bad thing.
Absolutely, not at all. I mean, kind of rooting for Puerto Rico, it seems like. But, no, I mean, I'm happy for him. They clinched, and he's going to get a chance to play, a little bit longer for that, and that's an outstanding deal right there. But it does give me another chance, or a couple extra chances, and looking forward to everything I can get.
Having options in life is a good thing. Having options in baseball, not necessarily. Knowing the situation with Jose Lobaton having no options, and you do, does it make it difficult knowing that obviously you want to do your best here, but it may be out of your hands at the end of the day?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's not my decision to make, and the only thing I can do is just kind of go about my business how I would any other way and try to make it as difficult a decision as they possibly can have.
What about a couple of pitchers today? We saw Matt Moore start out, as good as we see him all spring, and then just kind of got away from him a little bit.
Yeah, really it was just one pitch. He threw some really, really good changeups that inning. He gave up the homer to Ross, and really that was the only bad pitch he threw was a fastball. It just kind of was middle, really. And, he hit a good ball to center field before that, and, guys like that, they don't miss balls like that, especially him, But, really, I can't say a bad thing about Matty today. He really threw the ball a lot better, especially, talking about his previous outings in the spring. And his changeup was great today, and he just got to locate his fastball a little bit better.
Josh Lukey, a guy you've seen a lot the last couple of years, he's been a different guy this spring, hasn't he?
He really has. He's been working with Peralta a lot, and I told Peralta today, I said, whatever you're doing with him, you need to keep doing it, because that's the best I've seen him look in at least a year. I mean, he had a good downward plane and was flipping his slider in there for strikes, and, when he can do that, he's just as good as anybody we got here.
Chris, thanks for the time. Good luck.
Really, thank you, guys.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Will Inman in the game, and he has picked up a strikeout. The ball by Christian Vasquez for the first out here in the 8th inning.
Jumps out at you right there. 60 strikeouts, 48 in the third innings.
Well, that strikeout pitch to Vasquez served notice that those numbers are certainly no
right
fluke.
No. Showed a good fastball and a good breaking ball. Got some depth to it.
1-0 the count to Gomez. He entered as a pinch runner in the 7th inning. And he drops that breaking pitch in there for a strike. Rays signed Inman as a minor league free agent this past November. He'd been in the Brewers system for a long time. Two balls and a strike. Inman actually spent last year in the Red Sox system. He pitched for their AAA club at Pawtucket. And a cut and a miss takes the count to 2-2. But he started his career back in 2005 in the Milwaukee Brewers system. Strikes out Gomez. 2 up, 2 down, a couple strikeouts.
Hey fans, are you watching this broadcast from home? Well, get on the web. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We'll keep you up to date with the Panthers and all your other favorite Florida sports teams. Well, you got the Lightning, the Magic, the Heat. A lot of different options, as well as the Panthers.
Yep.
And maybe even the Rays.
Yep.
Marlins, throw them a plug.
You're so kind. 1-0 the count to Hart. Base is empty. 2 outs here in the 8th. There's a strike. fouled away. So Inman has come in here throwing strikes.
Yeah, strikes and fastballs that with these swings, you're wondering if he's hitting 100 miles an hour. I mean, come on. Imagine that, another good arm in the Rays organization.
2-2 now. One of the things they can do, and they do it consistently, as we mentioned, he was a minor league free agent signed last November. So you talk about their scouting system and people making some good decisions on people like that to create depth. Geyer takes care of it left. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 6-2 Boston. Bottom of the 8th inning here, with the Red Sox leading the Rays. It's been a very comfortable afternoon, but for the Rays, they are 4 runs short right now. They'll face Junichi Tazawa, pitcher number 5 for the Red Sox.
"37 games last year for Tazawa. 1.43 earned run average. How about the strikeouts to walk ratio? 9-1. A strikeout an inning. You talk about pounding the zone.
Well, it'll be interesting now with Tazawa in there. The Rays will have Sean Rodriguez to lead off. And Will Myers is out on deck, which would put him in that spot originally occupied by Escobar. We get a chance to see him in an at-bat. The principals in that big trade with Kansas City, James Shields and Wade Davis, headed to Kansas City, and Will Myers leading the charge, and the young talent coming back to the Rays. So we'll see him hit second in this inning.
Center fielder number 1, Sean Rodriguez.
And Sean Rodriguez, who's been in center field today, picked up a base hit and scored the first run of the game, second run of the game actually, back in the 3rd when the Rays opened the scoring. So he's 1 for 2. Pitch is a strike. Two. It's a ball and 2 strikes. And back to the hill. Rodriguez is out, pitcher first. And with 1 out, the base is empty. Will Myers will come to the plate. So Myers will get his first plate appearance of the day. And he, of course, the principal as far as the Rays are concerned in that deal with Kansas City, and he has been impressive this spring, and you can see his numbers coming out of the minor leagues last year. I know, like a lot of us, Orestes has been very interested in this young man and his spring.
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, BA gets excited about some young, exciting, new, brash pitcher like a Jake McGee last year, etc. I get excited about this dude right here. And I'm going to go old school on you, Dwayne. He reminds me of Dale Murphy because of the fact that he was a catcher converted into an outfielder, strong like a bull, quick swing, quiet at the plate, and a lot of pressure on him. Let's be honest. I mean, he's got to technically fill the shoes of Jamie Shields, even though he's a hitter and Jamie was a pitcher. Jamie he was so important to this organization, not just on the mound but in the clubhouse. So I'm kind of glad that they're going to probably move a little slow with this kid, let him acclimate to being an organizational Ray, and then we'll be seeing him real soon. Yeah, he does have a little bit of Dale Murphy in him because of the element that you pointed out and his stature. He also has a little bit of Longoria. Yes. In the way he sets up at the plate, particularly the upper half of his body. I totally agree with you, and how quiet he is, and then he's got exceptionally quick hands. So that's all, you know, Evan Longoria. I'm going to give you another guy that I really like, Ryan Braun. Same type, slow, but then explosive.
2-2 the count. And he's gone old school on all of us with no batting gloves.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's, again, Dale Murphy back in the day with the, go get 'em Braves.
Well, it was impressive, too, when you saw his stat line. 37 home runs, 109 RBIs in the minor leagues last year. And you got to remember, that's a month short. That's in 5 months. That's not a full 6-month season putting up those kind of numbers.
Great point.
And the 2-2 skied to right field. Linares toward the line is there to make the catch. And when you get a chance to see him move in the outfield, or I saw him run out a ground ball the other day. He really moves well, too. He's not just a guy who's going to swing the bat. He moves well.
Yeah, and that's nice. You can see him getting out there. Restus, you take it from there.
You know, he's definitely an athlete. I mean, he's big, he's strong, but again, there's one thing being big and strong and not having the right fluid swing, and he looks to have a very fluid swing. The big difference, I think, at 22 years old and not having an opportunity to ever really face day-to-day Major League pitching, BA and I were talking about this before the broadcast, is that it's hard to just throw the kid out there like that. And we do need some power right-handed hitting to complement, Longoria, but you don't want to rush a kid like that that's expected to do so much, and then you put too much pressure on him.
Yeah, that's not the nature of this organization anyway. And so you absolutely have to feel that he's ticketed to Durham. The question is going to be for how long. Fontenot lifts one back to center, and it's run down by Rosario to retire the side. 1, 2, 3. We're through 8 now, and it's still a 6-2 ball game.
On a sun splash Sunday afternoon in Port Charlotte, Florida, Boston leads 6-2 as we head to the ninth inning. David Price on hand today in one of the backfields, along with some little brothers from the Big Brother Big Sister program, Sir Giorgio and Gianni right there alongside Price. Now, David has a big event coming up on March 29th. Bowl for kids' sake. And you know how competitive David is. He thought that should have been a strike right there. At least a 7-10 split right down the middle. But Price is going to have that big event coming up that'll benefit the Big Brothers and Big Sister program. And you can get more information by logging on to Big Brothers Big Sisters or bbsfl.org for more info. Quite an off-season for David. He won the Pro-Am golf tournament at the PGA event at Disney. He wins the Cy Young Award, of course, and he finds out that his dog Astro will have a bobblehead as one of the giveaway items this year for the Rays, guys.
Hey, Dwayne, I would like to see that a replay of that. It was a very nice bowl there by David Price, but I'm going to call into question the 7-10 split. I think that's the only bowling lexicon that Todd has. I don't know. This is very nice form, good direction.
No, it wasn't a 7-10. 4-10,
no,
my bad.
It was not 4-10. A 7-10.
4-10.
It sounded good.
Spring training, BA.
For everybody, baby.
Yeah, but in the interest of all of us being credible, we went back to replay that just to make sure. And BA's here keeping us all honest. Boy, if that's true, we're in big trouble. Eddie Romero's on the hill here for the Rays, and he's a guy that Mitch Lukovic, who's in charge of a lot of this young talent for the Rays and finding it, helping them develop it. He really likes him. He thinks he has a chance for a big-time arm. 2-2 is fouled back. Jonathan Diaz, the hitter. Fouled back. Romero out of the Dominican Republic. So full count. Romero just turned 22 a couple of months ago. Ball line foul. So we'll see another full count pitch here from Romero, who is pitcher number 6 on the day for the Rays.
And with Romero, and you look at his arm, he does have a very good arm, good stuff. It's all about the command and throwing strikes. That has what has plagued him.
It's popped to the right side into foul territory and caught by Shelley Duncan.
And that was a nice job right there, having to throw strikes, able to come with 3 fastballs in a row to record the first out. You know, you look at his numbers last year in the minor leagues. He gave up 89 hits in 126 innings. That is outstanding. But on the flip side, there were also 76 walks in those 126 innings, and that's what he continues to try to work on because the stuff is there.
Yeah, and he's consistently been a strikeout per inning, or maybe a little beyond that. He was close to that last year, and so his track record is a good arm and harnessing that arm.
Young, he's 22 years old, continues to develop.
And he's ahead of Wilkerson, 2 strikes.
And follow the Rays with MLB.com @bat. Your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text @bat to 31826 or visit RaysBaseball.com for details.
1 out, bases empty, 0-2 count. And strike 3 called. He registers a strikeout for out number 2. Let's check in with Restes. I see as we look down to the dugout, he's got a bat in his hand.
Oh, yeah. The thing that I love the most, you know, I'm always carrying around a baseball The only reason is because I can't carry around a bat all over the place, so I'd hurt somebody. But listen, talking to Shelly Duncan, he'll be leading off next inning, actually, now that he's coming to the game. An interesting thing, I asked him, hey, what kind of bat do you use during batting practice? He goes, you know what? Here's what happened. Joe Madden asked me to change my bat to a heavier model. So he's gone to an actual 35-inch, 34-ounce when he used to use a 34.5, 32-ounce. So it's 2 more ounces heavier. That's a big difference for a swinger. Why? Great reason. It's because Joe felt that he was overswinging with the lighter bats. So when you get a heavier bat in the big guy's hands, you have to concentrate. You have to slow your swing down, and you got to really kind of focus on getting it through the zone. It doesn't make you any slower. You just have to be, less body and more concentrating on using your hands. When you got a light bat, you tend to get your body out there and get all crazy. So I'm intrigued to see. He did hit a home run the other day with this bat. So I'm going to hand it back to him right when he comes back in here, and hopefully the Joe Magic is in effect again with this advice to Shelly Duncan. There's a base hit.
Ryan Dent lines a single into center field. Well, we'll see if there's a little magic here in the bottom of the 9th inning still to come. Rays are down by 4. Brings up Jeremy Hazelmaker. Hazelmaker doubled in a run in the 7th inning. One ball, no strikes. His name disappears. There's barely an R at the end and barely an H at the beginning. One and one to count. One and two. And a nice pitch right there by Romero to get Hazelmaker. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 6-2. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning here in Charlotte County. Rays are down 6-2. They came into this game riding a 4-game winning streak. They won 6 of their last 7 en route to an 11-4 record on the spring. But right now they're down 6-2, and they're going to face right-hander Stephen Wright.
See the numbers last year: 25 starts. Sterling 2.54 earned run average and 141 2/3 innings of work. A little different role coming in to close this ball game out.
Yeah, Wright's out of the University of Hawaii, and we'll see a knuckleball out of him. Well, let's go down to Arestas and see. Do you feel the magic down there?
I'm feeling some magic. I mean, I'll tell you what I do feel, guys. It is awesome to be back on a baseball field. Awesome to mainly be back covering the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm excited about this season. Saw some good things. Obviously, I'm real high on that double play tandem of Kelly Johnson and Yunel Escobar. Got a chance to really get to know a little bit of James Loney and what I think is going to be a fine first baseman representative. And then the usual suspects. Evan Longoria looks really good, focused, and on point. Nice sacrifice RBI. And I also lastly like the diversity of this team. I think we've talked a lot about versatility and a lot about the fact that this team, I think this year adds new depth dimension that I don't think we had last year. And obviously we were stressed with all the multiple injuries, but I think we might be able to withstand a storm this year. Hopefully we don't have it. Health is wealth, but I like our depth this year a lot. So saw a lot of good things.
Well, let's see what Shelly Duncan can do here with that heavier bat. Right now he's behind in the count. Duncan, then Figueroa is due. Back to third. And the long one-hop throw is going to be there in time to get Duncan. Well, Duncan made a bid for it, but Holt down there at third base made the play and throws him out.
A tremendous play right there at the cut, backhand, and then the accurate one-hop throw. Able to get Duncan by a step.
The count. Figueroa has been in there playing second base since the 7th inning. Wright's the 6th pitcher of this game for Boston. Two and one. Is up. Now Wright spent some time with Tim Wakefield working on a knuckleball this spring, and previously had spent time with Charlie Huff. Figueroa draws the walk. So the Rays have a base runner with one out. It's only the second walk given up today by Boston pitching.
Shortstop number 36, Hak-Ju Lee.
Hak-Ju Lee, the Rays shortstop up here now. He looks at a strike. Down to second. Dent to Diaz for one. At the first, no chance to double up Lee, who's safely in on the fielder's choice.
Left-hander number 10, Brandon Geyer.
There it is trying to get the inning-ending double play. Nice slide down there. Figueroa slowing that play down, and Lee hustling down the line. You know what doesn't translate well on TV?
are knuckleballs. You know, you watch them; they look like they just kind of float right in there. And why can't you just pound these things?
Yep. Brandon Geyer up here takes a strike.
Until you stand in there where Brandon Geyer is right now and watch that thing dance.
Yeah. 0-2. Yeah, it's hard to square one of those up with the movement it gives you up there.
But they're not even fun to play catch with guys that are going to throw you a knuckleball. You take them off your shins.
Snap throw to first. He's back in. And there's always a guy on a team who will break out a knuckleball to try to play catch with.
And that tell you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to flip it to you.
Geyer misses it. So does Vasquez, but the retrieval and the throw down to first will end this game as Geyer strikes out on the knuckleball. So the Rays and the Red Sox complete this one. Boston wins it 6-2, and the Rays got some spring work in today.
Well, and that's what it is. This time of the year, you're concerned with guys continuing to buy into the process, getting their work in, progressing, trying to ramp their game up as you get down here the last couple of weeks. And while not a successful day on the scoreboard, overall, another day closer to the regular season.
So that'll do it now for Ryan Anderson, Todd Callis, and Orestes Destrada. Dwayne Stats, so great to have you looking in today. The Red Sox hand the Rays a 6-2 loss. This has been a special presentation of Sun Sports. Tune in Friday. Spring training continues. The Rays take on the Phillies. Our coverage begins at 1 p.m. in high definition on Sun Sports. And don't forget, log on to foxsportsflorida.com for the latest news and information surrounding all your favorite Florida sports teams.